Good afternoon and welcome to another story from my book, Shamanic Journey. This story is called December 2020, Make It Real. Following on from the previous articles or stories where I talk about the energies that took place in October and their resulting shifts, today I wanted to talk about December 2020. I don't know if you remember, if you made any notes in your diary, if you have any recollection. Maybe you noticed that during the first week of December, there was a very still ebb of energy. We were forced to stop and regroup resources. I could describe it as a small confinement within the confinement. The universe putting a handbrake for just a moment. Just as slow as my body was feeling, my brain was marching at full speed. So much that I was finding it difficult to sleep, and I had so many thoughts circling around my head. Just like my hawk totem does when he senses adventure in the horizon, something moving on the ground, a possible prey, perhaps a possibility for me. In my case, a concept, a new point of focus, a goal to achieve. We have been asked to stretch beyond where we have been so far. And this requires a still body and an active mind, working to rewire, refocus, and redefine the options. In those two articles I just mentioned, I asked those who were ready to draft a life or business plan around October. The point was to redefine our path forwards, letting go of surreal or irreal possibilities, outmoded, burdensome activities that were preventing us to shed the old skin, which had become too tight during 2020. We were being asked to prepare for 2021. I had spent the last 3 years redefining who I was. I took my totems and archetypes, numerology, I Ching, tools that I had been constructing for many years and put them together, squares, lists. I looked for points of commonality. I looked at everything that I had put online and then wrote it down in words. Next, I looked for the synonyms, the core words relevant to every main skill, and picked the ones that I resonated with the most. With this work, I locked onto who I really was, and I allowed myself to refocus. Now, it was slightly different. In December 2020, I was being asked to look at the technology, the tools, the platforms that I was engaging with. Were they too many? Were they the wrong ones? I made an extensive list of things to learn, YouTube tutorials, websites, online platforms to check out. What I realized is that although there is a lot, even though there is a lot out there, one only needs a small amount of forums and activities to be done on a regular basis, specialize on them or master them in order to make a dent in the huge internet market. Finally, my hawk had found its prey. Synthesize, simplify, refocus, redirect your energies in one single point of action. We need to master 1 or 2 forums and 1 or 2 skills. We don't need to do everything everywhere, be everything to everyone and become successful in all areas. This is somehow the mindset that we picked up along the way. I don't know why, but what I do know is that it is the surest way to be unhappy and unsuccessful. So basically, we first have to decide who we are, and secondly, pin it down. Then we have to find the most resonating area of expertise, that which makes us the happiest. And finally, we need to find a couple of forums that will allow us to do this work shining brightly, like my hawk would do. It is a matter of consistent and persistent focus, which is, I believe, maybe the lesson of our times. The final lesson that I learned is that I can't go by what other people are doing, basically because we all have our own individual path, and what works for another may not work for you. It is not about duplicating another person's course of action, but to align to our inner desire and potential, then attract the activities that match it all up, that resonate with us. When we don't work from inside out, and we attempt to work from the outside in, we simply get distracted. So we split our energy, we split our focus, and we get dispersed. And then we think we are failures. So if you haven't done your life plan, business plan yet, you still have time. 2021 is not over yet. And I came to the conclusion after having learned from life that in the future, we shouldn't separate our life from our work. Our life can't be split into two any longer. We should live our passion and earn from it, not endure a series of hours a week, which we call work, waiting to retire to enjoy life. Because what if we don't have life when we retire? At least we know that we have life now, and we should live it while we have it. There is not entitlement and no assurances. If 2021 is going to show us something, is that we have to let go of securities and assurances paid with money. The only security and assurance that we will have is the power of our inner being, centered and clear from all the noise around us. In my case, I realized that what I really love doing is creating content. They say the content is king, but there are lots of people who struggle with producing content. But I feel I am continuously plugged into the cosmic mind, and I keep reading energies, weaving them into my life, linking them to everyday situations, synthesizing the lessons into articles, posts, books, blogs, courses, presentations. The format doesn't matter. What matters is that I always have an opinion. I always have something to say, and I'm always going to say it. As a life number 33, you can read the book, The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman. I am a life number 30-3. My potential is self-expression. And after all these years, it turns out that all I ever want to do is express myself. So now that I know that, all there is left to do is find the most exciting and adventurous way to do it. Part of the task we have ahead is to let go of something in order to spend more energy doing less frantic work. In my case, I'm replacing my old Stargate article series with more personable videos, like this one. People were telling me that the introduction music was annoying, and they wanted to see their face. They didn't just want to hear the voice. And although at the time it was my technical level of expertise, I have to admit that they were right. Secondly, I'm starting to translate my books into Spanish to open up this market. And in doing so, I am upgrading both my English and the Spanish books according to the level of knowledge that I have today. So basically, I am revisiting what I wrote for the last 25 years. To top it up, I am writing inspirational posts from the books, creating a small library per book. In the last 6 months, I've created 10 books of posts, 5 in Spanish, 5 in English. And thirdly, I have identified some top apps on marketing, SEO, business tutorials. I'm targeting book preview publishing sites, inspirational quote banks, courses selling sites, etc. Because after years of trial and error, I have chosen to be loyal to one site for each category. For instance, Amazon for ebooks and books, Wix for my website, LinkedIn for professional networking, WordPress for blog, Patreon for a customer base, YouTube for a video platform, Udemy for courses, and develop a relationship with followers, subscribers, and friends, my online family. So you may be wondering, how is this different from the sorting and refocusing from the previous years? And my answer is, I believe that in the past, we were asked to pinpoint who we were and define it clearly. In my case, I came to the conclusion that in my heart and in my mind, I am a metaphysical author and a consciousness coach invested in helping inspire people to unlock their potential. It doesn't matter whether you can do more jobs. For instance, I have been a manager and an educator for many years, a life coach and a public speaking coach, and a Reiki master. But that is not what gives me joy today. So I had to mourn my previous careers and let them go, learning from them, knowing that following my higher calling today will open the doors of joy in my future. And yes, that requires faith. So now we are being asked to use the technology available to us to make our road forward easier, not more complicated. That's to say, put ourselves out there in a neat, clean, effective manner, using the available technology and creating collaborations for mutual support. And this also may take a leap of faith. What I believe is that we need to learn to uncomplicate our lives because control is out and flow is in. And I know that it takes time to be able to define yourself to this level, but when you do, you are almost there. Thank you for listening. See you next time.